This is Doc Ock coming to you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing on this grand Friday night? That's right. It's Friday night. I'm feeling right. And hopefully our presentation tonight will be just so tight that you won't be able to help yourselves but to give us a like. If you're looking on Facebook, a thumbs up if you're seeing this on YouTube, and even go out and tell all your family and your friends and maybe even a few enemies as you try to turn them into some frenemies. All about our show. That's right. That's right. We're going to be showing out tonight with a book that's called March, Book 1. March, Book 1, the story of John Lewis and how he got involved, and a lot of other young people got involved actually in the civil rights struggle back in the 60s, the 1960s, not the 1860s. Don't get it twisted. There's more than one civil rights struggle. This struggle, it's been going on for a while. All right? Yeah, we could go back. But tonight, suffice it to say, we're just going to wind the clock back to 1956, and we'll start from right there. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and get this show on the road with a little proverb or two. Let's see what we got just for you. Here we go here. The most beautiful fig may contain a worm. The most beautiful fig may just contain a worm. Think about that one. And that one comes from Zulu land. Yeah, that sounds like something they say way down in Zulu land. The most beautiful fig may contain a worm. So look out for the worm, because it might just make you squirm. All right. Now, we left off last night in the year 1956, not long after the Brown versus Board of Education decision of the Supreme Court that said that schools had to be integrated. You couldn't have segregated schools no more. And so a lot of people thought, oh, great, this was it. We'll be able to, get some better, more quality education. We'll be able to have access to more up-to-date equipment, up-to-date books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not exactly how that went down. Let's hear what John Lewis has to say about how he saw that going down. During that August, an incident occurred which nobody could ignore. In Money, Mississippi, the body of 14-year-old Emmett Till, who had come down from Chicago visiting relatives, was pulled from the bottom of the Tallahatchie River in Money, Mississippi. I want you to remember that, because money is supposed to be the root of all evil. That's what they say. The day before, as he left the Money Country store with some friends, Emmett said, "Bye, baby," to the white woman behind the counter. The next day, he was dead with a tire wrapped around his neck. A tire attached to a rope or a chain or something wrapped around his neck, because they needed something to hold the body down. A black farmer named Moses Wright witnessed the two white men dragging Emmett Till from his relative's home and had the courage to testify against them in open court. However, the all-white jury found those two white defendants not guilty. A few months later, they even confessed to the murder in Look magazine, but there was nothing to be done. They had already been tried. And there's a rule they call double jeopardy, that if they try you once, they can't try you over again. So even though they had then admitted they had done it. Nothing anybody that could do. Then, on December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks refused to move to the back of the bus. She's on the bus, and the bus driver says, "If you don't move, I'll be forced to call the police, and they will arrest you." And Rosa Parks said, "Okay, yeah, go ahead, you do that. Yeah, go on about your business." My family didn't know Rosa Parks, but they knew plenty of women like her. More than a few wives and mothers from Pike County did domestic work in Montgomery. She was arrested. Montgomery was just 50 miles down the road from us. Our minister lived there. Most of my teachers were from there. So when Dr. King, as president of the Montgomery Improvement Association, led a boycott of those buses, we felt like we were a part of it too. I listened firsthand to accounts of what was happening. May, they're empty. Every day they'd be full, but there's hardly a soul riding those buses now. I followed it almost every day, either in the papers or on the radio. 50,000 Negroes are believed to be participating at this time. Seriously? 50,000 black folks all doing the same thing at the same time, and it ain't a cookout, it ain't a barbecue, and it ain't a party or with some twerking? Really? That don't even sound likely. The boycott went on for more than a year. Dr. King's example showed me that it was possible to do more as a minister than what I had witnessed in my own church. I was inspired. So 5 days before my 16th birthday, I preached my first public sermon. A praying mother from the first book of Samuel. I was nervous. Beads of sweat rolling down. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm supposed to be showing y'all the pictures. My bad. I forgot. Got so into the story, I forgot my manners. Let me go ahead and just play a little catch up over here. Oh, wait a minute. We got to do this first. Okay, now there you go. Okay. Thought something was wrong with this picture. All right, now, let's see. Here we go. There we go. Now we'll get it. Okay. Now. Okay, so there you go. So those are the two defendants getting off after murdering Emmett Till. And then there's the beginning of the bus boycott. And now we're on, oops, wait a minute. Oh, this is the one where he says he was inspired. And so the next page, there we go. Now we're caught up. All right, sorry about that. So 5 days before my 16th birthday, I preached my first public sermon, A Praying Mother from the first book of Samuel. I was nervous, beads of sweat rolling down my face. But once I warmed up, the congregation warmed up too. Amen. And out poured the emotions. Praise the Lord. After hearing of my sermon, the Montgomery Advertiser asked to take my picture for an article. Click. That was the first time I ever saw my name in print. And they called him the Boy Preacher. John Lewis. None other than John Lewis. And there go those buses rolling down the street with no passengers. You know how much it costs to put a bus on the road with nobody on it? That really is not something you want to have happen on a regular basis. Certainly not for more than a year. Washington, D.C. Oops, wait a minute. Let me keep going here. Okay, there's the clicks. It's taking the photos. Okay, boy, I have to really stay on my P's and Q's tonight. Stay on my P's and my Q's. All right. Washington, D.C. 8:51 a.m. January 20th, 2009. So we're flashing forward back to the excuse me, Black to the future. Congressman, yes, young lady. Jacob and Esau, they play too many video games, but they work hard. They're good boys. Come on in. Sir, they'll be ready for you in 5 minutes. Thank you. I'm really very sorry we've taken up so much of your time. We should get going. No, please stay. We still have a little time. What were you going to ask? I guess, well, school. What did you do after high school? How did you go to college? Is that where you met Dr. King? Says the one boy. Well, yes and no. My mother helped me to go to college. My mother and a part-time job working at the White Baptist Church offering home, the White Baptist Offering Home in downtown Troy, Alabama. I don't know what that is, a White Baptist Offering Home. I'm not sure what that is. One day at work, she saw a little paper published by the Alabama Baptist Convention, which was all white, by the way. It mentioned a school in Nashville called American Baptist Theological Seminary that was jointly supported by the white Southern Baptist and black National Baptist. According to the article, it was a school for black men and women to study to become ministers or missionaries, and it offered a work-study program on campus. Apply here. So I applied to go to school there. And I was accepted. And I got a job washing dishes and serving food on the line. It wasn't glamorous, but I got to know all the faculty, students, and visitors. Everybody needs to eat. You know how that goes. I loved the new ideas college was introducing me to in religion and philosophy. But I couldn't stop thinking about the social gospel. Here I was reading about justice when there were brave people out there working to make it happen. I started to feel guilty for not doing more. I became restless. Yes, I did. I thought about Troy State, just a few miles from my parents' home, where no black student was allowed. So I applied as a transfer student. 1 month passed, then another. I never heard back. Finally, I decided to introduce myself to the only person who I thought could understand what I was trying to do. To Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., says his letter. Please excuse the da-da-da-da-da. Over the next several weeks, I exchanged a series of letters and phone calls with Reverend Ralph Abernathy and a lawyer named Fred Gray. Everyone knew Fred Gray. He represented Rosa Parks and was now Dr. King's attorney. Finally, Gray and Abernathy wrote to tell me that Dr. King wanted to meet me. One Saturday morning in the spring of 1958, my father drove me to the Greyhound bus station again. Neither of us said a word. I boarded a bus and traveled the 50 miles from Troy to Montgomery. I'd never seen a lawyer before, black or white. And I presume you're John Lewis? Yes, sir. Attorney Gray? Oops, there we go. Yes, sir. Attorney Gray, that's the panel down at the bottom in the left-hand corner. We're going to have to drive over to the church. And so they get in his big Lincoln Continental probably, and they drive over to the church, and they park outside the church, and he looks through the window and sees that huge church. Nothing like the one that he goes to back home. And they go in, and then they go down underneath, because that's where they have offices at usually, and the churches are down underneath the sanctuary. Knock, knock, knock. Come in. And there's Dr. King sitting there behind the desk. So, are you the boy from Troy? Are you John Lewis, the boy from Troy? Oh boy, that strikes me real funny. The boy from Troy. I just want to meet the boy from Troy. I was so scared. Who is this young man who wants to desegregate Troy State? I didn't know what to say or do. Dr. King, I'm John Robert Lewis. I said my whole name. Do you really want to go to Troy State? Yes, Dr. King, I want to go to Troy State. They questioned me about everything. Well, you know, where I was from, how I was raised, if I knew what I would really face. To attend Troy State, we'll have to sue the state of Alabama and the Board of Education. You're not old enough to file a suit. You'll have to get your parents' okay. They're going to have to sign. But if you want to go, we'll help. We'll raise the money to file those suits. And we'll support you all the way. But you must keep in mind, your parents could lose their jobs. Your family home could be bombed or burned. You might get hurt. Or your family may get hurt. I don't know what'll happen. You need to go back to Troy and talk this over with your family. I know that's right. My father didn't say a word to me on the ride back from the bus station either. But the next morning, they sat me down for an interrogation, is what it sounds like, asking me what had happened the previous day. I told them. At first, they wanted to be supportive, but they were afraid, not just for themselves, but for those around us, our friends and neighbors. They said they didn't want anything to do with filing a suit against the state of Alabama. Nothing, not one thing. I was heartbroken, but it was their decision. I wrote Dr. King a letter explaining. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. I wrote Dr. King a letter explaining that I would be returning to Nashville in the fall. Looking back, it must have been the spirit of history taking hold of my life, because in Nashville, I'd meet people who opened my eyes to a sense of values that would forever dominate my moral philosophy: the way of peace, the way of love, the way of non-violence. Come in, up, and that's our cue to head on out. Without a doubt, we're going to log out right about here, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Because, you know, we always continue to read our evening stories all the way through the weekend. So tune in tomorrow night, and we'll tell you some more about the story of the boy from Troy named John Robert Lewis. John Robert Lewis, the boy from Troy. And today, that boy has become a man, and now he's transitioned to the ancestors. So that boy now is one of our ancestors. So this is a tribute as much to in part to him and the life he led, as well as to Malcolm X, because we are in the midst of celebrating the life of Malcolm Little, otherwise known as Malcolm X, otherwise known as otherwise known as Haj Malik El Shabazz. So make sure to tune in tomorrow, because we'll have a special program on that will be featuring Malcolm X at noon, and then we'll be back here tomorrow night at 9, continuing the story of the boy from Troy. And in the meanwhile, y'all know what to do. Go ahead and give us a like on Facebook, a thumbs up on YouTube, and then give us a 4 stars with your friends and your family. I know that looks like 8 stars, but that's because I got 4 on each hand for more than one person. Okay? So go ahead and give us 4 stars, or you can give us 5 stars if you want with your friends. Put your hands up and let them know that they need to go ahead and tune us in as well. All right, so that's all for tonight. Don't forget, you can make a recurring donation right below. You got a donation button there for a reason. We put it on every time we do a presentation. There's a donation button there. It's not there for show. We're not trying to show out. We put that button there to help raise a little bit of dough, because it takes a dough for us to make this show go, because you don't want us to blow. So please do the needful. Meanwhile, all you little children out there in La La Land, it's time to lay your little head down on your little pillow, on your little bed, close those yeah eyes, and wait for that big old sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, go ahead, rise and shine and greet the day. Because who knows what may happen to you tomorrow? Only the shadow do. Peace out without a doubt, y'all. This is Doc Ock transitioning right on out.